Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Lindsay. I'm the Housewives historian, and today we're talking about the Real Housewives of New Jersey, and we're talking about Bravo as a network and a whole, and how they may or may not have been damage control after the Real Housewives of New Jersey aired. When the season wrapped up, is it possible that they have been in sort of a cleanup mode, cleaning up their reputation? We're seeing people that were canceled years ago coming out with spin-offs. Guys, it's strange. We got to talk about it, because if that's the case, Bethany Frankel is certainly the biggest thorn in their side, and maybe she knows this and we didn't know that she knows, and that's what it might really kind of be going on behind the scenes. And then also I want to talk about the fact that Andy Cohen posted a video today of him and Jenna Lyons from the Real Housewives of New York, and I was like, who's gonna tell her? So before we get into all that, guys, of course, you know the drill. Everything in this video is alleged. Sorry, I just want to get that on. Everything in this video is alleged. It's for entertainment purposes only. Please don't come after me. I've been initiated. I've been doxxed. I've done it all. So please hit the like button, subscribe to my channel, put your notifications on. One of the perks to being a subscriber is that any MIT that gets confirmed sporadically, I just come on a live and I give it to you guys. So it's always good to have those notifications on. Okay, guys, so let's get into this. So first I want to start with the video of Andy Cohen that he posted today with Jenna Lyons having breakfast in the city. Jenna had her dog with her. Jenna Lyons is one of the biggest names that we're seeing on the Real Housewives of New York. If you don't know, she was like chief editor, basically running J. Crew for years. But it gave me very much a Bethany and Andy Cohen sort of vibe. Do you guys remember back in the day, Andy Cohen and Bethany would meet up in the city and have lunch or breakfast, and they would post it, and people thought they were just like the best of friends. And I just think it's so funny that he's running that same game on Jenna Lyons. Like, oh, a big name in New York. He lives in New York, so that works perfect because he can link up easily. Whatever his end goal is, he's sort of manipulating the situation, because he's like, oh, he's playing the favorites. He's playing the turn the women on each other sort of thing. Like, he's picking his pet, if you will. And his pet right now is Jenna Lyons from the Real Housewives of New York, because he wants... Allegedly, he didn't even want the Real Housewives of New York to come back, and allegedly he didn't want Miami either, but here they are. So I'm wondering if, seeing that there's a lot of potential there and a lot of potential to be successful, he either has orders from the top or he's smart enough to turn and change his tune a little bit. Regardless, who's going to tell Jenna Lyons that he's playing her? He's playing her. Keep her on the show, keep her happy, keep her name there, keep her, he posts with her because then they're out and about together. It's a lot of press, but it's the name of the game. Comment me your thoughts on that. And moving along, I want to talk about the fact that Melissa was in a podcast with Mercedes from the Shaws of Sunset. And she came out and said that Bravo was, after this season aired, Bravo was going to be cleaning up its image as a whole. And that got me thinking, and it got somebody else thinking. They want to remain nameless. But what if the network is going after people that throw bad press or throw dirt on Bravo's name or on the franchise that they were on? Because we have a couple of different people whom were literally booted off the show during the Black Lives Matter movement, and now they're getting spin-offs. I don't know how that works. Were they like, if we give these people shows, are they going to talk nicer about us? I don't know. It's definitely possible. I think that the network has taken a hit, especially after Bethany has, even if she makes no progress anywhere else, the one thing that she has done is she's sparked the conversation, and she has let people know what the deal is with their contracts. And she is contesting that Bravo let people out of their NDAs so that they can talk about it too. And that's a really big deal. So, on top of the bad press that Bravo gets in the social media world, they're dealing with now, unexpectedly, I'm sure, Bethany coming in like a freight train, trying to almost not technically sue them, but tell them don't destroy any of the footage because we're about to sue your asses, basically. So it's interesting. She has Raquel on her podcast, Rachel Raquel. A lot of people saying, okay, Bethany, but you're talking contracts, you're talking if not restitution, but whenever it's like the same, if the same thing airs, you get paid every time it airs. I want to say repercussions, and that's not it either. Regardless, that's what she was fighting for, and she was complaining like that they don't get that, and people are like, okay, well, she's on your podcast. Are you going to pay her every time there's a clip of your podcast? Are you going to pay her for every pay that you get, every view that you get, every click that you get, every time it's streamed on a different service or whatever, right? And Bethany's being super secretive about their arrangement, and she is calling Lisa Vanderpump out and basically saying she's a liar. She's saying that Lisa and Bravo during the episode, one major thing I think that made the press, people's jaw kind of hit the ground, was the fact that allegedly Bethany's assistant made more than Rachel did last season on Vanderpump Rules. People are like, oh my God, how can that be true? Me being one of them, right? So then, conveniently, TMZ catches LVP outside of one of the restaurants. She's coming into work. She looks lovely. And they ask her, and she says it's absolutely not true. And she says it was closer to like $360 thousand that she was paid. And I was like, wow, that's a really big difference, right? Because you're definitely not paying. I mean, what are you paying an assistant? What is Bethany paying an assistant? Even if she was generous, I don't know what that would look like for her. But I thought assistants didn't even get paid at all. I don't know. Could be wrong. Anyways, so LVP says, no, it was like $336,000. And now Bethany has countered. She's touche. And she's like, actually, Bravo and LVP are trying to run everything that Rachel has made as a whole in the last 3 years together and say that's what she was making. The point being, it was a dying franchise. She wasn't going to be getting paid a lot of money at the beginning of the season because they were about to get canceled. That was going to be their last season. So I'm sure that she didn't have a fair contract and probably was looking for a bonus, however Bravo cuts the checks for their performance or the reunion or whatever they do. I don't know how they do anything over there, but it surely feels like every gossip outlet, like major gossip outlet, like Reality Blurb, dude, these bees are like, I'm telling you guys, killing me. They are literally going to be the death of me. Ugh. I just want to make sure my audio is still on. All of these major outlets that report like celebrity, it's almost like Bravo has infiltrated all of them, like Radar Online and Page Six, and even sometimes TMZ, like with the whole Britney Spears things. Like, it just kind of feels like no matter what space you're in, the press people are either like team Bravo, and if they are, then they're team Joe and Melissa. So it's like one or the other for whatever reason. And I go back to the fact that I say that there was a long period of Teresa's life where she was fighting these federal cases in court, and she was surely distracted by raising her children and not knowing what the future was going to hold for her for a long period, years, right? Not to mention getting indicted, going to trial, getting sentenced. Then she goes away, she comes home, then he goes away. That was a significant amount of time. And during that time, Teresa wasn't watching this show and she was not online. And that gave Melissa an advantage because she was able to build a rapport and make a very big online presence. It was only up until probably a year and a half ago, 2 years, that we really saw Teresa on the social media platforms. Um, and so I think that there is an advantage and a handicap to Teresa, unfortunately, because she was busy like taking care of her kids. She was busy like being a mom. Like they had shit going on, real things going on. Meanwhile, Melissa and the sisters are online and they're in touch with this publisher, if you will, this news outlet, this press person, this blogger, this influencer, whatever. Like they're building and they have nobody contesting anything because Teresa's not online, right? So there's nobody to argue the other side. It's just their opinion. That's it. Or their story or whatever, it is that their narrative. Like there wasn't as big of a presence of tree huggers and people that supported Teresa online because of the fact that they didn't really like have a community of them, short, right? So anytime you would say, like, if I single as just like a single entity would comment anything that was negative about Joe or Melissa, people would come for me. If you go back on my YouTube channel to when I very, very first started, I would do deep dives. And all I would do is talk about literally no dumpster gossip, only the things that were printed and in headlines and on paper and in articles that I had receipts for, and people would get angry at me over it. So you couldn't say nothing about them if it was not in a good light without people coming for you. And as a community now, tree huggers, it's a little bit different. So I just think that a lot of times, guys, Bravo and their people have inserted themselves and they're doing their thing and they're trying to clean things up and they are losing. They're not doing a very great job at it at all because Bethany one is like coming so hard for them. And there's a lot of things like with New Jersey, it's a very delicate situation if you guys really think about it. From a network's perspective, it's a delicate situation because if there is hypothetically a following of people who love Melissa enough that they would boycott the entire franchise if she were to be demoted to a friend of or be completely off the show, I just don't know if her people are super, dedicated, because it feels like sometimes, like with Teresa, people are watching to see Teresa. I don't know if people are tuning in to watch Melissa. If they are, let me know in the comments. That's just my opinion. I'm just saying, I'm not sure if I see so many of a presence of them, but that I could be completely wrong. However, it just feels like that it's not always as big of a presence as maybe we are led to believe, and maybe Bravo co-signs for it. It just seems like they're co-signing too with each other, like through different press outlets and putting different spins on things. And I was like seeing a rumor about Teresa, like it's just crazy what's happening in the press today. It has been like a crazy day, literally. I cannot even tell you guys how crazy of a day it's been. I also want to mention really quickly, sorry guys about that. That was my battery. Really quickly, that it does look like David and Kim have parted ways professionally, and we're sorry to hear that. We love Kim and we love David, and they always did right by me on their podcast. So I'm not gonna speak ill on either one of them. I don't like to speak ill on anyone that's podcasting or working in this community. Just me. I come in peace, hands up, don't. But yeah, so I feel bad because I hope that people don't implement themselves in between the two of them and start drama, because I feel like that could easily happen. I think that we're gonna see Kim D. I'm telling you guys, you guys can tell me that I'm crazy. I usually don't make predictions like this, but I just have this feeling that we're gonna see Kim D. And it would be very smart of Teresa, I think, to bring her on, because Kim is loyal. She's very loyal. And one of the reasons she says that they didn't, bring her back before was because they were upset that she was so loyal to Teresa. They basically, I think they wanted her to say something bad or derogatory about Teresa. And they got mad because she wouldn't do that. So again, their producer, I don't know what's going on over there in New Jersey. If it's like in the water, who these people are, it just sounds so crazy. But I believe a lot of it. Okay, I do. And I don't know. I just think that we're gonna see, if we see a New Jersey this season. I don't know. There's like rumors that they could can everything that they filmed if they don't like it, or they don't feel like it's gonna get the numbers, or I don't know how they determine that, but that's what we're hearing allegedly. I want to know what you guys think about that. New Jersey stays in the headlines. Regardless, it seems to be one of the biggest franchises that the Housewives has really had. I mean, they literally, guys, this month marks a year since Teresa's wedding, and I like to use her wedding as a marker to when the chaos online really, really, really picked up. I feel like was around her wedding, when all those posts were posted to Melissa's family and Joe not going to the wedding, it like ignited people. And ever since then, it feels like New Jersey's in the press every day. Okay. Literally like every day. So for over a year, we're talking 14 months probably, because I would say a couple of months before Teresa's wedding, there was a big online presence about her wedding, the upcoming wedding, who was going to be in the wedding, who was filmed, who was not filmed, who was a bridesmaid, who's, Vanessa, the ex's girl was like in the mix. There was a lot of press, right? And I don't know. I don't know. It's just crazy because they've been in the press like every day for over a year. It seems like they should be be one of the richer franchises. Um, but it seems like the ladies are sort of struggling. We don't really have, you know, them balling, if you will. And I saw this video of Marge. Oh my God. It's so bad. It's so bad. I don't even know if I should tell y'all about it, but I'm going to anyways. So, remember how I told you guys that there was a clip on Twitter, and I think it was from Melissa's Big Nose, and she was like, Bravo literally like getting senior citizens drunk is not entertainment. And I thought that she was talking about Marge, Lesarge's mom, and Melissa's mom, Donna, because they seemed to be like drinking and having a good time, and they were like dancing, and it was kind of circulating. So that's what I'm thinking this whole time until I see this clip of Joby shirtless with pink pants on, laid out in a lay down lounge chair with a camera over him, Lexi on her knees with a bottle of alcohol on one side, and Margaret on her knees, looking very much like Lexi on the other side, doing body shots off of Joe B. Guys, the internet, they were like sister wise. They are dressing alike. They are morphing together. They look alike. Yes, they look a lot alike. And yes, they are dressing alike. And I don't know what to say about that, because I don't know. I don't want to say what everyone is thinking, because I just don't want to say that. But when Margaret, the way the camera, like the angle, it's Margaret is her back is to you. And at first, you will think that it's Lexi because Margaret's lost so much weight and her hair is very blonde, pulled back, um, how Lexi wears her hair. So at first, you think it's Lexi doing body shots off Joby. And then you look and you see actually she's on the other side with the alleged liquor, pouring it into shot glass for Margaret to take. And everyone is circled around. The cameraman is like in there. It's like, we don't really want to watch body shots off Joby. Like, is this for real? Like, is this for real? That's why today I'm like, what is going on today? Like, I cannot understand what is happening and why they think that we would want to see that. And then it makes me think, like, okay, you guys focusing on Jennifer and Bill Aiden because they got drunk one time at the Jersey Shore on vacation at a party. You play the clip till it's dead in the dirt. And now that you don't have Jennifer and Bill there drinking, and you don't have Louie and Teresa there fighting with Joe and Melissa, you have Marge the Sarge, who never drinks, on her knees, taking body shots off of her husband. I'm like, maybe it wasn't even liquor. I wonder if it was like her little drinks that are alcohol free. Like, she has a whole line of alcohol free drinks. Maybe she was taking shots of those. I say she probably ate like 5 gummies and she was like on a cloud. And even though she criticizes Jennifer Aiden and calls her a disheveled, you know what, she does the same thing. We've heard her talk about gummies. She also talked about putting POT on her PUSS. Yeah, I think she was probably on a cloud when she came in, and she either pretended that she had shots and then just was like loopy because of, the THC and wanted people to think it was alcohol. I don't know. I don't know if I believe that Margaret was there drinking, but it certainly looked like the people were amped, like they weren't over there. And again, it could have been for the camera, but I hope that they weren't that amped over like pineapple juice and Spitzer. Come on, please. I can't think that they would. I mean, they had a freaking blow up doll in the pool. Like, my God, what the hell is wrong with them? It's like they opened themselves up to it. And it's like, and people have a point when they're like, if Louis did that, the internet would be like going crazy. Like, and they would. They would. You guys know. They probably would. So, all right, guys. Also, the last thing that I wanted to close with was the fact that we're hearing that Polly is tiffing with John Fuda. There was an alleged tiff at one of the last group events, and allegedly Polly and Dolores left early, and there was a tiff between John Fuda and Polly. I wanted you guys to take note that Polly has been filming with Dolores the entire time. She is living in his home where he threw the party last year, the end of when they wrapped filming. So he doesn't have a problem with production being in the house. We're seeing them film together. He's at every event. Him and Louis are taking pictures together and posting them. They're becoming friends. They are double dating with Dolores and her beau are double dating with Teresa and Louis. And she's pledging her allegiance to Teresa. That's how all these rumors about Teresa becoming a friend of, let me tell you something. Dolores could have stayed right where she was at and been nice to both sides of the party if she wanted to be. But in sealing her deal and in her actual allegiance to Teresa, it moves her, it gives her a safety net. It secures her a spot. She is Teresa's supportive, great friend. She's going to stay on the show. And I think that's why, I don't think that's why. I think she dearly loves Teresa. I think they have a genuine, real relationship. But I also think that they understand that business is business, work is work. Like, sometimes shit happens. And I think that Teresa cuts Dolores some slack, maybe too much, just because they probably have known each other for such a long, long, long time. And we've also talked about, guys, the fact, like, people that that you've known for years, or that have like known your parents that are passed, and people that were close to you that are gone, and like your people in your life don't know them, so you have like this special connection with people who knew people that you love that passed, like your parent, whatever it could be. So it seems like poor Teresa sometimes gets, I think, people around her who don't have the same amount of loyalty. But I think Dolores does. That's why she was so cautious about pledging it, because she is very loyal. I don't think she will flip flop. I just think she was sort of waiting it out as long as she could, playing Switzerland, being a peacemaker, just trying to keep everyone going, right? And that's great and everything. But here's the thing, like, they're hurting people and things are not good. So you better get on a team, because then you might just end up on an island by yourself, and then you're like the one that they cut. So I think that she saw an opportunity to get in with Teresa. Teresa doesn't have any like fake friends around her. Like, before, Teresa was friends with Dina and she would go everywhere with Dina. So I think that Dolores kind of took a back seat because Dolores and Dina didn't necessarily get along, right? So Dolores, being respectful of Dina Teresa's relationship, she sort of takes a back seat. No problem. Dolores stays friends with Kim D. Teresa doesn't care. She gets it, even though maybe her and Kim D weren't getting along for a while. Now I hear that they are. I hear that they're texting, and I hope that we get to see her on the show. I hope that they give her a job. Let her go on, and you know, I think she'd be great. I mean, cut Jen Fessler's pay. I like Jen Fessler. I would like her if she did, if Margaret wasn't around, if she wasn't like saying, confessing how loyal she is to Margaret every single confessional, every time she's on Watch What Happens Live, every time a question is asked that pertains to Margaret, or, you know, she just continues to sort of respond the same way, but with different words, but it's the same thing. And I'm not saying anything bad about Margaret because she has shit on me or production. I don't know. All right, guys. Well, make sure that you leave those comments. Let me know what your thoughts are. Do you think that Bravo is trying to clean up their own mess? Do you think that? I think that they might be a little bit. I think that they've had a rough year too, to be honest. I do. I think that they've probably had a little bit of a rough year. And Bethany's keeping people up at night. So, you know, I don't always agree with everything that Bethany's doing. I'm going to talk about that in a separate video. Not that but I agree with some things that she's doing. So agree to disagree, if you will. Anyways, guys, make sure that you hit that like button, subscribe to my channel, turn your notifications on. Go check out my new blog on www.lindsay, Lenzi, and then co for company.com. And check me out on Instagram and TikTok. Have a great day.